really lucky.
Yeah, Chris was talking about Northwest Ohio, parts of Maine being in a great spot. Our team coverage continues throughout Northwest Ohio. We want to check in with our Tim and Kaylee, our morning team. We said last hour, maybe when it gets dark at about 3 o'clock, they're going to think it's time to go to bed because that's usually they've been up for like 18 hours already, guys.
It's a good question there, Jeff. It's kind of like we know the animals will act in a certain way, the nocturnal. We will try. We've been waiting for this totality. Yeah, we can't miss this. We maybe don't have as much totality as other areas, 1 minute and 27 seconds here at UT, but I'm thinking that is enough because look at all the people here. They know this is a great place to watch this eclipse.
It is not stopping people from coming here. We had talked to someone with UT about 30 minutes ago. They said they've been prepping for this event just like us for a year. They are expecting a lot of people. I would say easily right here at Centennial Mall where we are sitting, 500 plus people.
At least,
and we don't even know how many people are over at the Glass Bowl. So definitely a big crowd and a big mix of people too. You have the students behind us, you have the family, parents, and then you've got just everyday people just who want to come and experience it, especially because it might not be too far from them. They'll be able to get food, they'll be able to hear music, play some games.
And think of some of the people maybe in Sylvania, for example, who are just out of totality. They realize they're not going to see a whole lot if they're not into full totality. So they're coming to UT, which isn't that far of a drive. And we see people here on the hill behind us. They put their blankets down. Others are just maybe brought a couple of chairs. They're getting food at probably a dozen food trucks here. I mean, I think this is a fantastic place to view this amazing event.
And we mentioned totality. For perspective, Ryan Weekman, our meteorologist on the morning team, has talked about the importance of being in 100% totality. 99.9 does not matter. You will not be in totality. In this case, rounding up does not work.
It doesn't. You want to make sure you're in that spot. It's real comfortable here. I mean, through here, people walking their dogs in here too. So this is a great place to be if you still haven't made plans as you're running out of time. We want to get to our Michael Samplin, who is live in Kenton. A little bit more totality there for you, Michael, today.
Absolutely, Tim. We're talking 3 minutes and 55 seconds of totality. You really can't beat that time. And one of the cool things about being dead center in the middle of the path to totality is that you're going to get a lot of people from other parts of the country who have either seen an eclipse before and want to see it again or want to get that maximum view. And I recently spoke to a couple from Lancaster who actually drove down to the last solar eclipse in 2017. They were able to catch it in Tennessee, and they were just describing some of what they've seen because I've actually never seen a solar eclipse before, so they were telling me when they looked up and they were actually able to see full totality, it looked like someone had punched a hole in the universe. It was really, really descriptive, powerful language. And the gentleman's wife said it really made her feel that it was a spiritual experience. And that kind of got me thinking, and I wanted to look a little bit into how other people throughout the centuries have interpreted these eclipses. So it goes all the way back to the Chinese. 5,000 years ago, we have the first written descriptions of how people interpreted the solar eclipse. And the ancient Chinese scholars described it as a dragon swallowing the sun. Hundreds and hundreds of years later, we heard the Norse describing it as Loki was locked up in chains, and then he wanted to punish the gods for his own punishment, so he created a wolf that swallowed the sun. We have lots and lots of eating and devouring the sun, but the point is, it is the kind of experience that shocks people and makes them think that there is a higher power. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, but for now, I'm going to toss it back to Jeff and Kaylee over at Imagination Station.
It's fascinating, just like we said, hearing the fact that people have come from far and wide to be a part of this today, and just, I'm getting kind of, he was talking about getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about how close we're getting to it.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that through all this time we've been planning all of this, and it feels very, I think doesn't even feel real until it maybe is going to get dark.
Some of the kids around here, we're noticing a lot of families have taken this moment. Obviously, a lot of kids with the day off from school because they wanted, as Chris said, wanted this to be a learning moment, opportunity for them, not in the classroom, here experiences out in the wild, if you will. And it has been a wild turnout so far here at Imagination Station. We are talking hundreds, probably well over thousands,
sure,
that we've got in downtown Toledo, because not only right here at Imagination Station, they are also having a gathering at Promenade Park.
Yes, they are. Yeah, Promenade Park. We have Hensville. We have our Tyler Seckerman at Hensville. It truly feels like the community is coming together for this. It feels like such a good time. I feel like when I walked out this morning, everyone was just in a good mood, and we've been looking forward to this, so it's hard to be down today.
We're talking about getting to the place where you want to watch this when we hit totality, and we want to check in with Tatiana Cash. She is checking those roadways for us today as well, because I'm sure it's going to get bumper to bumper in some spots here pretty soon.
Yeah, actually, when it comes to the roadways right now, what I can tell you is that, as you can expect, because we've been talking about it for quite some time, 223 as well as 75 traveling into Ohio are your congested spots. But otherwise, things are looking pretty good. So no massive complaints passing through Whiteford Township on 223. 7 miles of congestion. So folks who are headed in, if you're waiting for friends, family up there in Michigan, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer because it's definitely taking some time. Same thing can be said here on 75 traveling south here into Ohio. It's about 3 miles of congestion, but the good news is not a lot of red, so it's not a lot of stop and go. It's just a little bit slower than usual. So taking a quick look when it comes to your drive times right now, your biggest problem spot, Sylvania to Perrysburg, there at 15 minutes. Elsewhere, look at that, on time with your drive times. Back to you guys.
All right, Tatiana, thank you so much. We brought in meteorologist Chris Vickers down here at Imagination Station with us, and I can feel
Our
it in
experts.
you. I can feel it in you. You're just getting ready for this.
I love it. It's the Super Bowl of astronomy, meteorology, all kind of coming together, and a once-in-a-lifetime experience for everybody. We've been looking forward to this day, really, you could argue since 2017 when we had the partial eclipse. And if you think, well, all right, I saw the partial eclipse in 2017. I think I've seen everything.
Oh, no.
Just wait. It is going to be incredible to be in totality. It is a fully different story.
So let's talk a little bit about the weather and what we're seeing right here, right now. Obviously, this morning, crystal blue sky when we were walking over here getting ready. It's changed a little bit as far as the perspective in downtown Toledo.
So higher level cirrus clouds that we're working in. Fortunate for those are not going to fully obscure our view, so we will still be able to see that. That actually kind of keeps the development of any other clouds down. So a little mix of good news with that as well. So we're not expecting these clouds to get really any thicker. In fact, they may start to clear a little bit between now and totality time. Coming up, 1:56 is when we're going to start to see that partial eclipse. So let's take you to the information that you need to know. When are we going to be in totality? Across Northwest Ohio, it is going to be anywhere from 3:10 to 3:16. Now, only during the time of totality, and guys, I got to encourage you to do this. You have to remove your solar glasses when you are in totality to fully experience it. Jeff and I were talking earlier, that is when you actually experience a 360-degree sunset, something that you only see in totality. So there are a few high thin clouds working into the area. Those make their way across the path of totality from western Ohio back into Indiana. And again, they're not going to entirely obscure the sky. They're going to be harmlessly drifting across the area. We still will get that perfect view of totality. Many spots now mid to upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. You couldn't ask for a better early April day. We've got dozens of communities that are going to be in the direct path of totality. That center line making its way directly across Northwest Ohio. This graphic is showing your minutes in totality, and closer to that center line, we've got nearly 4 minutes of totality across many of our communities that are really going to be in an ideal position. Cloud cover's been thicker though across Texas. Really an unfortunate scenario for them. Thicker clouds offering some poor viewing conditions across the state of Texas. Really though ideal from the Great Lakes and areas to the north and to the east up into New England. They're going to have some very favorable conditions. Right now, the eclipse has actually started over the Pacific Ocean. It will come across the U.S.-Texas border at 2:27, and that shadow is going to be racing across the face of the Earth at 1,500 miles per hour. So from about 2:27 to a little bit after 3 p.m., that's when it arrives into our area, and it makes its way across Indiana, here into Northwest Ohio. It'll hit the Ohio-Indiana border at 3:08 p.m., and it goes from Ohio when it first enters and exits in 11 minutes. 3:08 to 3:19 is when it will eventually exit Ohio. It gives us really a gorgeous view at totality. It makes its way into western New York and eventually to some clear skies over New England, where they're going to have just an excellent view across New England of the total solar eclipse.
That animation is fantastic, by the way.
It's captivating, isn't it? You could just kind of sit and watch and just enjoy that all the way through. And what we're expecting weather-wise for today really is just going to be ideal, close to 70 degrees. Another thing that we're going to be looking at as well is the drop in temperature, and we're going to be kind of focused on that. We've got some of our data out here.
Oh, yeah.
It's telling me we're 75 right now. It's probably sitting a little bit in the sunshine, so that's going to drop as we go into totality. We may notice a drop of about 4 to 8 degrees once we head into totality.
Let me ask you something, because one of the things that got played up this weekend again and again, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it, but I think that graphic, that animation you just showed, kind of really hits home for folks thinking, wait a second, this is just a shadow over the entire continental U.S.
Yes.
But it also, what I heard was, you've got a sun that is 400 times the size of the moon. However, you've got a moon that is 400 times the distance from the sun, and that's what creates this. Am I getting that right?
Does it make you feel small?
Yeah.
It really does.
Tiny.
It makes you feel tiny in the big scheme of things. Yeah, exactly right. And you know, that sun's 93 million miles away, and to know that that tiny moon is going to block out entirely here in Northwest Ohio the sun's rays is truly an incredible experience. That's going to put us into totality, where we have that chance to view the sun's corona, which is the outer atmosphere of the sun, an extremely hot portion of the sun, up to 2 million degrees Fahrenheit, something that's made up of, you know, charged plasma and gases and solar eruptions that will be visible with our very eyes for the first time, perhaps in your lifetime.
I know.
Ever see that.
He and John have been so excited about putting together forecasts over the last few weeks.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's all we've been talking about. Like we said the other day, we asked him what the opening day forecast for Detroit was, and he was like, the eclipse? Wait, what did you say? I can't think about anything else right now.
If the opening day forecast was the home run, this is the grand slam.
Oh,
so we're looking forward to it. We can't wait. Coming up in a little bit, I also want to talk about what we're going to see during totality. The potential of seeing several planets that will be visible. Venus and Saturn could be one of the brighter planets. Stars that may be visible as well. It should be incredible.
I know we've got John Birchfield standing by. We're going to go to him after this break, but let's talk a little bit about one of the things that really kind of keyed me and clued me in was you said when we hit totality, we are going to be able to talk to people about when they're going to see it, where they're going to see it, correct?
We have it down to the second.
Yeah.
So that's very important that you know the second that you're in totality. We actually have those times for many of our communities scrolling right across the bottom of the screen.
Yep.
It matters that much. And you'll know you're in totality because there will be no visible rays of sun making their way to your eyes. So at that point, that's when you can take your solar glasses off, only during totality, and you have to do that to be able to fully experience totality, because you want to look around and you want to see that full 360-degree panoramic sunset.
Yeah, take everything in, not just staring at the sun for the full 2 minutes or a minute and a half or so, but there's going to be so much more to see.
And notice the environment around you. Streetlights might come on, crickets might start chirping, birds might come out, the deer could come out. Just unusual things will happen, something that we've never seen before.
Stay right there. Our continuing coverage of this once-in-a-lifetime event, the Eclipse 2024, continues right after this.